So you're thinking of buying your first condo. Well, let me lower your expectations, quite literally. Hey, I'm Steve Mitchell, Realtor here in Toronto, and today we're going to look at stacked townhomes, or townhouses, or towns, whatever you want to call them. They're an often overlooked first-time buyer choice, and we're going to get at it right now. Okay, so let's get right into it. What are stacked townhomes? Well, think of a peanut butter sandwich or grilled cheese. You've got bread on the bottom, peanut butter in the middle, and you've got another bread on top. And most of them are that three-level structure, with an owner in each level. On the bottom, you've got a ground level or slightly below ground level, almost Manhattan-like, lower unit. Now they often have a terrace that is out there also below grade, and the rest of the unit is flat. The second level is up a few stairs and then straight in. It too is also usually a flat structure, just like a condo apartment, but again, direct entry. As far as outdoor space, you usually don't get any in that middle unit. What you usually get is something called a Juliet Balcony, which you can think of the Shakespeare play, Juliet hanging out over a railing looking for her Romeo. That's about nothing to walk out on or sit out on, but that's what you're going to get if you want a little bit of outdoor action. The third level is the most interesting and, in my opinion, really the best one to go for if budget allows. It gives you a two-floor living situation, and then a third level, which usually goes right to the rooftop deck. So now that I've talked about the basic structure of these townhomes, I'm going to make some comments about the pros and cons versus a flat condo in a building. And this is going to be mostly within the context of that upper unit, where you go in, you walk upstairs, then there's two more levels, and then there is a rooftop. Number one, they often have at least the same amount of space and sometimes more. To that degree, you can stay longer in it before wanting to move up to even larger premises. You want to skip as many moves as possible in this market, and particularly in the city of Toronto because of all the taxes involved, not to mention real estate commissions to nice guys like me. The second big advantage of stacked towns, particularly again, that top level, which has a rooftop deck most often, is easy access to larger space, and larger space that you can usually do more with. Barbecues are usually permitted, where in high-rise buildings, though the balcony may be generous, barbecues are usually banned. I don't know about you, but I really like my barbecue. Worth noting that below-grade unit in the stacked configuration also is usually barbecue friendly. A 2+ den in one of these buildings offers a real den. The use of the word den is, how shall I say, subject to gerrymandering in the Toronto condo market. A nook in the wall that's barely noticeable as an indent for a bookshelf is somehow declared a den. You find that less in stacked towns. I won't say they're perfect either on that count, but usually when they say den, there is a distinct area that's marked off and built as a den, particularly important in this work-from-home era. Another advantage of stacked towns is the feeling they give you because of their configuration. By having the sleeping areas, the bedrooms, on a separate level, it can feel a little bit more like a small house rather than just flat. Some people love flat. If you have mobility challenges, stacked towns with all their stairs are not necessarily for you, but if you like the feeling of having the sleeping area away from the main living area and the kitchen, they offer that advantage, whereas condo apartments can't. Another thing that the separate sleeping areas give you, and usually the separate den, which is up with the bedrooms often, is better noise control. You've got the kids playing down in the living room, watching TV, playing games, or whatever. You got somebody in the kitchen cooking. You got people milling about and talking. You can retreat, go up, have a lie down in your bedroom, or do some work, whatever is striking you at the moment. Whereas in a condo flat, it's often hard to get that feeling of being able to get away from people, even on equivalent square footage. So like everything in life, there are pros and there are cons. Here are some reasons you may want to skip stacked townhomes entirely. The first may be patently obvious. Stairs, stairs, and more stairs. Yes, you got to get to the top there. How are you going to get up there? Stairs. Not for the weak of heart or the weak of knees. And though these homes can be of great use to young families, please, a safety tip here, make sure you get a guard across the stairs. I know you would anyway, good parents, in any kind of home that you move into with stairs, but the stairs in these stacked towns are particularly steep and dangerous. So you want to make sure the little one's safe. Another drawback is lack of amenities. There's a joke in real estate. We often say, okay, now let's go look at the pool you'll never swim in. Because a lot of people put a lot of cachet and wow factor on, ooh, look at the pool, look at this. Are you going to really use it? Well, some are. Obviously, some people love those amenities. You won't find too many in these stacked townhome complexes. You might find an exercise room, but pretty much it's bare bones. You're on your own for your swim. And having no elevators can be a problem. You know, it's winter, you've got groceries, other things you've got to carry. You got to climb up from that underground parking, walk down the pathway, which hopefully will be shoveled because your maintenance fees have paid for that, and up into your condo. So it is more difficult than coming from the underground parking in a high-rise building where you never have to see the outside. Hey, thanks for joining me today as we took a look at the pros and cons of stacked townhomes. If you want to know more, hit me up in the comments below. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Hey, and if you found this video useful, check out my 6 steps to buying in a crazy market. I'm Steve Mitchell. Look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.